Aloha, everybody. We are just waiting for the top of the hour. Thank you for being here. Everybody can hear and see everything okay?
I can hear, but there's nothing presented.
But you can see me, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah, the presenter will be on. All right, Van, I am going to, this is probably a good time for you to bring up, share your screen before we start the intros.
Okay, you should see a black screen.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. I am recording this per request for people that can't attend. But welcome, everybody, and aloha, Disability Awareness Month, and mahalo for joining us today for an insightful presentation on the topic of artificial intelligence and the disabled veteran. I met today's speaker at one of the Akaka information fairs and was immediately drawn into his unique approach to helping disabled veterans. And today's talk has been vetted by our ethics SME, and we would like to just say up front that the VA does not endorse or promote any business, although free resources and opportunities for training will be mentioned throughout for anyone seeking to learn more about ways of implementing AI in their care of veterans. So without further delay, let me introduce today's AI expert, Van Hill, who serves as the Veteran Outreach Coordinator for Hawaii Center for AI, a nonprofit dedicated to promoting artificial intelligence, education, and innovation across Hawaii. In this role, he assists in managing community outreach with the mission to foster AI education and collaboration, and his work helps to drive the goal of making AI accessible and impactful for local veterans, businesses, and community partnerships, ensuring that the growth of AI technology benefits the broader local community. He leverages his expertise in integrating consumer AI systems, including popular generative AI models like ChatGPT, to streamline operations and boost profitability for clients. Van is a U.S. Navy veteran, yay, and holds a Bachelor of Business Administration and Finance from the Shidler College of Business at the University of Hawaii in Manoa. In his free time, he enjoys creating AI-generated music and art, deepening his expertise in financial technical analysis, and spending time with his family. Luckily, I've enjoyed observing many of the demos he will showcase today, all of which gave me many helpful ideas on ways to better integrate machine and human collaboration for a variety of my own projects. But before we begin, he has a short video to share with you.
Okay, sorry, kind of froze there, but
Welcome to this presentation on artificial intelligence and the disabled veteran, presented by Van Hill from the Hawaii Center for AI. This presentation will explore the ways AI can empower veterans, particularly those with disabilities, by enhancing accessibility, improving mental health support, fostering job readiness, and exploring ways to use these systems creatively as therapy. The presentation will cover a range of topics, beginning with an overview of generative AI models like ChatGPT, Midjourney, and Udio, highlighting their powerful language understanding, multimodal capabilities, and potential applications in various fields. We know that this topic can be controversial and could easily be talked about for the next 4 hours, but unfortunately we only have about an hour today to present. Your enthusiasm is very much appreciated, but we ask that if you have any questions or comments that you wait until the end of the presentation to ask them, as we should have a bit of time for Q&A. We hope that this presentation is an informative and insightful session, showcasing the transformative potential of AI in empowering and supporting disabled veterans. Please keep an open mind and enjoy the presentation.
Are you ready to begin?
Awesome intro, Van. All yours. Van, I think you're muted.
oh, sorry. How about now? We're good?
Loud and clear.
Perfect. Hey, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you're at. Sorry I don't look as cool as I do in the presentation picture there. In case you haven't noticed, that is AI generated. I wanted to kind of, hone in on that with every little bit of this presentation that I could to kind of showcase these things. So that was a great intro. A quick little bit about me. So I did spend 13 years in the Navy, and I have been kind of in Hawaii the majority of that time. I was an interior communications electrician, so like a lot of phone systems, TV systems. Got out, started working in telecom, satellite communications for about 10 years, then got my finance degree right at the beginning of COVID. So that was fantastic. And basically started my own company trying to showcase as much technology-based things as I could for businesses. Started working with the Hawaii Center of AI earlier this year, based on my kind of fanaticism about this technology and what it can offer. And I've been working as the veteran outreach coordinator since. So I'm going to get started here. Make sure this is good. So the Hawaii Center for AI, I did want to talk a little bit more about this. So the vision for the center is we envision a future which all the Hawaii's residents have access to the AI technology that effectively and safely serves their individual and collective well-being. We promote the beneficial use of artificial intelligence throughout the communities in Hawaii to include veterans. We do consulting and everything is free. It's all absolutely, all of our volunteers don't, get paid. We just do this because we're, basically to have somebody to talk to about it is why I kind of started, because I was getting a little, every time I'd have a conversation, nobody wanted to talk to me about it. And it's like, oh, it's just another thing or whatever. So I just became an advocate. Why are we not switching here? Okay, so one of the things that I've really wanted to push here is I have actually become pretty familiar in the preparing of this talk with the VA's 2022 to 2028 strategic plan. And I have read through that document a lot, and trying to look for ways that, the use of these systems outside of working with the actual VA, but for veterans itself, kind of parallel with different strategic objectives. So we're going to be looking. You'll see them kind of bulleted throughout the presentation. Strategic objective 2.1. Specifically, we're kind of focusing on 2.1.1, which is health and suicide prevention. We're looking at strategic objective 2.2, which is implementing strategy for job readiness and placement, which I think is important. And then we're looking at 2.3, specifically 2.3.1, implementing strategy 2.3.1, which is equity and marginalized underserved communities. I think that there's a lot of capabilities that this technology has to assist veterans with these three specific ones. There's a lot more in there, but again, I'm staying kind of away from suggesting how things are run at the VA and more how individual veterans and really the community at large that supports the veteran community may be able to use these things. And we'll actually see some examples of this. So what is artificial intelligence? I'm sure there's many different levels of people here who understand or have no understanding, and maybe this is a first for you. But AI is not new. Beginning in the 40s, you had different systems that were doing kind of just basic math. They were kind of working through it, how to solve, word problems and, stuff like that. You had, Alan Turing was kind of, one of the first people to really work on this very hard, and still to this day we have the Turing test, which is a kind of a standard for artificial intelligence as to whether or not it's really intelligent, meaning that it can fool another human into thinking that it's human, essentially. In the recent past, I guess 2000s, 2018, deep learning kind of went, Google and some other people got very adept at making some of these systems that have developed since the 40s. If you recall, IBM had systems like Watson that was able to, win at Jeopardy, AlphaGo. These came a little bit later, but this has been evolving for quite some time until present day when we had LLMs and these large language models that are based on a transformer architecture. This is what's changed the game. And the transformer architecture, without getting too technical, basically the more compute that we throw at this, the smarter they become. And so what we're seeing is, large companies like Microsoft, I believe, who has just purchased through another company an entire nuclear power plant to power their potential AI architecture, is really changed the game, because the more power and the more compute we throw at these things, the smarter they seem to be able to be, the smarter they are. And so now that we have that, we have these large language models, we have diffusion models, we can create music, we can create, images. As a matter of fact, full disclosure, the intro that I had shown, and if you didn't pick up on it, was AI generated. I just provided the script. The guy was not real. The music I generated, all the music behind it was not real. And obviously me talking as the spaceman also was not real. So generative models is kind of what when people are talking about AI now, and oh, I saw AI did this or AI did that. They're likely talking about generative models. So large language models are like ChatGPT, which is kind of a big buzzword. You'll hear Gemini. There's Claude, which is very good. These models are really good. They tokenize information and basically look at it as concepts and not like words, and they're able to predict the next word. However, they're able to do so in a way that there's chain of thought and reasoning with these things. So, while I'm certain that everybody could benefit from this, I am going to use most of these again. I mentioned this before for veteran welfare and how veterans can use this. And being a veteran myself, I'm going to share how this has helped me. I am service-related disabled. I do have issues that I deal with, and these technologies have actually really helped me therapeutically. So we talked a little bit about large language models. These are ones that you can talk to. They can talk back. We'll have a demo of that here in a little bit. They have multimodal capabilities. So multimodal capabilities, you'll likely hear this at some point if you haven't already, or if you don't already know. But it's the ability for these systems to handle text, images, and audio, or all of the above, in order to process and create or do whatever it needs to. So ChatGPT can listen and speak. It can take images, analyze the images, and then talk to you about it. And that's a multimodal capability. We have generative image models. Okay, so these are models that can create images, and we'll kind of showcase that a little bit. And these are diffusion models. They've been trained on billions, trillions, I don't know, of images, and quite literally dream up the image that you tell it that it should be seeing. So if you say, make me an image of a cat, it will dream up an image of a cat and provide it to you in the way that you prompt it. And so it's pretty impressive. As a matter of fact, all of these images on the screen were generated. None of those are, real, right? Like these were all generated within the app. Matter of fact, this presentation was largely generated using these different systems. And then generative audio models. There's Suno and Udio are a couple of models that I like to use. There's other models that can just do voice. The gentleman in the beginning of the presentation was, a video and audio generation. Suno and Udio are more for music making, and we'll get into that a little bit later as well. It's close to my heart because I am a musician, and fell away from making music. It was, a large part of my life for many years until I joined the military, and then had kids and just didn't have the time to, pick up my bass or create music. So the ability for me to use these models kind of sparked that interest back into it again, making me want to do more, and then and am able to actually output a lot of music. And I have a full-on, I'm on Spotify and everything else, and it's a mix of generated and real music, but it's really helped me. So we'll touch on that a little bit more as well. So multimodal AI is a game changer for accessibility. So this speaks to the objective 231, equity in marginalized and underserved communities. So AI vision, right, and the capability of these things to see, right, offer transformative assistance for visually impaired by interpreting images. I can read text aloud, and this can help a lot of people if you're, well, one of the examples I used is if you can't see something, right, you can take a picture of it and then just use that to decipher what it's saying. You could also just, if you don't know where you're at, right, or you're having issues seeing at all, you can use it. And there's actually some talk that it'll be even better now where you can just use the video and it'll just kind of, you can use the video on your phone and it'll just tell you what it's seeing real time. And then ChatGPT's advanced voice mode will talk to you and have a full-on conversation with you. So I actually wanted to showcase these in a quick demo, if that's all right with everyone here. And I'm going to go to the screen here, and nobody's on screen, and that's fine. I imagine it's no big deal.
I
Hey,
can
there
come on
you
screen
go.
if you
All
need
right,
it.
Rebecca, we got one. So I'm going to take a picture of what I'm looking at now, okay? And perfect. Thank you so much for visual participation here. And I hope you can see this, but this is just the image of the screen. Go to next on this. Okay. And so now I'm just going to ask, what is it that I'm looking at here? I'm having a hard time deciphering what's on my computer screen. Can you help me? And so just uploading that picture. This is just ChatGPT on my phone, right? And so it's spitting out what it's seeing here. Okay. And so I'm actually just going to long hold this and say read aloud. It's going to take a second to transcribe this into an audible form, and then it should just start talking here in a minute. Hopefully it didn't take too long. I'll turn my volume up here.
We're looking at possibly in Microsoft Teams or a similar platform. Here's a breakdown of what's on the screen. 1. Video participants. There are 3 visible participant video feeds at the top with names like Van, Renegar, Paul G, and ACOC, Rebecca A. Most other participants have their cameras off, showing only their names or initials in grey circles. 2. Participant list. Below the video feeds, the participants are shown with names, initials, and some with additional info like unverified. This could mean they're using accounts not officially linked or verified within the system.
So dramatic. I've picked that voice intentionally because it sounds just the most dramatic to me. And so, but you can actually choose different voices. There was a little bit of drama. I forget the actress's name, but she was in the movie Her. She was the voice of the AI in the movie Her, and they had it sound very similar to her. So they had to change that. But
Scarlett Johansson.
Scarlett Johansson, thank you so much. Yeah. So she, there was a little bit of issues there, but all that to show that it's very capable, right? And it's very detailed. So it can take an image and very detailed analyze that image for folks. So one of the things that I do a lot with voice mode, and that's kind of what that was. That was just reading the text prompt that we have here. I don't know if you can see the screen, right? And so that's not that impressive, but one of the features that has been released, at least for ChatGPT through OpenAI, is voice mode, which allows, and this, I'm not sure if it's a paid version anymore. I do pay for this, but I believe they offer it for free, where you can actually just go back and forth and have a conversation. And I've done this for many different things. I'll do it for brainstorming or rubber ducking ideas. I've done it for just kind of like business development, making notes when I'm driving. I'll just turn it on and like talk to it. It'll make notes, and then it'll actually print out the entire transcript of our notes that we've been back and forth on, and then I can just take that and utilize it later. But one of the other things is potentially as a companion. And I know that sounds a little weird and it isn't real, but I wanted to showcase something here, and I'm just going to talk to it. Got to start a new one here. I'm sorry. Hey, ChatGPT, how you doing this morning? I'm giving a presentation in front of what feels like a million people. My anxiety is peaked, which it really is. And I kind of want to just run out of the room right now and shut this thing down. I don't have a lot of time here. Could you talk me through how to maybe calm down a little bit? Because I'm about to freak out, I think.
Hey, Bill, I hear you. Presenting in front of a big crowd can definitely spike those anxiety levels. Let's take a few minutes to focus on calming down. Start by taking a few slow, deep breaths. Inhale for a count of 4, hold for 4, and then exhale for 4.
Box breathing.
Do this a few. Great. Now, as you keep breathing steadily, try this. Visualize yourself giving the presentation successfully. Imagine the audience responding positively, nodding along, maybe even laughing at your jokes. Picture it going really well. This can help shift your mindset from anxiety to confidence.
Okay, I think I feel a little bit better here. I don't want to run out of the room. I think they're all looking at me and thinking I'm nuts here. Hey, I appreciate your help.
I'm glad to hear you're feeling better. Remember, it's completely normal to feel nervous, and most people in the audience are supportive and understanding. You've got this, Bill.
Could we end with a joke just to make me laugh a little bit?
Of course. How about this? Why don't skeletons fight each other? They don't have the guts.
Oh, a Halloween joke. Good one. Okay. Hey, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Good luck with your presentation, and just remember to breathe. You got this.
That's not programmed. I did not program that in any way. OpenAI did not program that to say that thing. This conversation was not preemptive. There's nothing like that. If you guys download this and had the same conversation, it would respond in a different way, right? So this creates a situation now where we have access to these kinds of things, and you know, the output of these systems is quite literally intelligence. And there is a very strong effort for these companies to create emotional intelligent artificial intelligence, versus just a very, you know, robotic, like, you know, talking about whatever kind of AI. And so that can help, you know, our you know, anybody who is feeling lonely. But is the veteran who is suicidal or having suicidal ideations going to pick up his phone and talk to an AI? You know, maybe, you know, maybe they're willing to talk through it and do the box breathing exercise and stuff like that. But maybe not as well. So how, in this instance, can AI help? So at the last moment, I found this yesterday, maybe the day before, and had to throw it in the presentation. And so in you know, in true fashion, I've made this as difficult as I possibly could for myself, and, you know, made sure I could integrate this portion of the talk in here. And Home Team is an application that was created to teach. So there's a lot of veterans like myself who want to help other veterans who maybe are going through more, right? And so Reflex AI is a company that created Home Team, which is an application for free that anyone, but it's focused on veterans and is not affiliated with the VA at all, just to make that clear. But it helps train people on how to navigate these conversations. So you sign up for it and then you create your account, and then there's training that you go through on, if somebody is talking to you and they are suicidal, like how do you handle that? But it trains you by providing you these mock conversations. And then it will play the troubled veteran, and then you will respond to it in a way that you think is necessary, and then it'll kind of grade you on your response and how you did. And so you can go back and forth with this thing and then basically become, I don't want to say we're not trying to, they're not trying to replace clinicians and replace what any of you do, but it could be potentially life-saving for the veteran who reaches out to one of his buddies who is in a better spot if his friend knows how to navigate that conversation. The website addresses and has a ton of VA resources to utilize in those kinds of conversations. So in this way, it's not just the AI is doing all the work, but the artificial intelligence is able to engage veterans who want to be able to help, but just aren't sure how to have that conversation, and get them trained to the point where they are able to handle that with potentially troubled or suicidal veterans. So I wanted to point that out because I will be utilizing this. Again, I found this like 2 days ago, so I haven't gone through the whole course yet, but I am. And this is something that's near and dear to me. So I thought this was absolutely amazing and wanted to share with you. Oh, sorry here. So now I wanted to get into the cool stuff, right? Like this is the stuff that I think is most impactful and shows, and hopefully, like I don't get long-winded here, but creative generative AI is different AIs that you can utilize that allow you to create, right? Obviously. So we've spoken a little bit about them, but these are just three that I certainly use. We have Udio, which is or Udio, it's audio with no A. Which generates music. And so the intro video, excuse me, I generated like a minute and a half long song last night and then utilized that for that part of the video. Generative image models like it doesn't say it, but Midjourney, that's what that one is right there, it will create images, and we're going to show this. And then Runway ML can create video. Audio and video, your images are pretty good right now. The video ones, they're getting there. There's I think there's a lot of pushback potentially from Hollywood, but it's still pretty amazing. However, it is expensive. Udio and Midjourney are pretty cheap. So I am going to use this hyperlink here. Please let me know if it's not showing the screen. Paulo, can you see that?
Yeah, it's showing.
Okay, great. So this is all music that I've made using Udio. I've posted to SoundCloud. I have a whole nother account with a bunch of weird music. I don't know, unless you listen to like Aphex Twin and Square Pusher and kind of weird music like that. I'm not going to showcase that, but this is more like local kind of music for Hawaii. And so I'm just going to play a little excerpt of this song. So you can turn up your audio and listen to this a little bit. But keep in mind that none of this is real, okay? You can hear the finger strumming of the fingers on the strings of the ukulele in this song. It's pretty amazing.
In a little workshop by the ocean blue, they built a robot with a heart so true. Made from the iron and the sands of Oahu. With gears and circuits, it was something new. Oh, aloha, Aina in the island breeze. This little robot learned to live with ease.
And there's a quick question. Is the voice yours?
We'll see. It found the spirit of aloha living free.
Okay, so I'm not going to go through the whole song. But to be clear, none of that was real. None of it. Okay? It was all generated. The voice was generated. The drums are generated. Every portion of that is generated. Okay? So in the same way that LLMs or large language models are trained on large data sets of text, somebody said, hey, let's try this with music. And so they train these models on large data sets of music and then tokenize those to where if I say I want, ukulele and like a Hawaiian type song, to me, it kind of sounds like maybe like a little Crosby, Stills and Nash. I don't know. But, you can craft these things. Now, this song, admittedly, it's not like I just said, make the song, and it just popped it out, and it was amazing. It took me a while. You have 30-second increments. You get 2 options for every generation. You kind of pick which one you want. If you don't like either of them, you pay again. You generate again. I pay about $10 a month for this. And so for me, it's super therapeutic to be able to create. Okay. I get high stress. I have, just a little insight into me, I'm have my issues, and to be able to sit down and utilize this and actually create something as a musician, especially if you're in a band, when you play songs like over and over again, there's a point where you just kind of like don't ever want to hear the song again. You're like, I don't ever want to play or hear the song again. You also don't get that kind of, creation exhaustion with these things because it's like so cool. And then you basically get to output the exact thing that you want and create your own music. And I have songs that I listen to frequently that I've made, right? Like that I've generated. But I also use this for samples to create my own music using a digital audio workstation as well. So I'll have this and it'll make a portion of it. Or you can take your music that you've created in generative audio or a digital audio workstation and put that into Udio. And then Udio will actually remix it and then resample it. And you can pull that out and then you can download the drum track or the vocal track. So it allows me to, in my own time, which is little, actually produce a lot of music and be creative in a way that I don't want to say gives me purpose, but it's something that I've missed doing for about 20 years. And so it's kind of opened up this whole new side of me. And I, just be a little vulnerable there and just kind of share that for me, it's huge. It's absolutely huge. Oh, no, did it. Oh, okay. So I'm just going to kind of go to the next one. Oh, that's not what I want to do. Oh, boy. Okay. Here we go. All right. So our next one here, this is Midjourney. Okay, so this is a image generator. Okay, none of this is real. All of this is generated. Okay, this is just kind of the front page. I'm not going to go through the process of how to generate images or anything like that. But basically, you go up to this thing and you say, I want an image of, I don't know, creepy spaghetti person, and then it'll generate it. Now, the different styles, if I click on this, you can see it says AR 2.3, so that's your aspect ratio, and then version 6.1, and this is the prompt that the person put in. So quite literally, all the person did, whoever this user is say a spaghetti in the shape of a person, surrealism, cinematic light. I wanted it a 2.23 aspect ratio, and then the version of the model that they're utilizing is version 6.1. Click a button, outputs an image. Okay. Now, if you're an artist, you might be like, oh, this is cheating. This is, whatever. But if you are a small business owner trying to or just a solopreneur, just you, and you're trying to create social media content or, whatever, this is royalty free. Once you create it, you can use it however you want. Matter of fact, the majority of the images that you've seen, if not all of them, in this presentation were generated to include, oh boy, what have I done? Yeah, so this is generated, right? This whole family, all these were generated. Even Bob here in the park on his phone, that's not real. So all of this has been generated in, it's just quick and easy, right? So now I can focus on my message and not how to build a PowerPoint, because creatively, visually, I'm not there. Like I can't do that kind of stuff. Musically, I do have some creativity. Visually, my stuff is like pretty monochromatic, and I'll overanalyze stuff. This is super helpful, okay, for that kind of thing. And I'm sure you could think of a million different ways potentially that you can use this. Finally, let's look at Runway ML. This is probably one of the premier models. All of the video that you're seeing right now, assuming you can still see it, all generated. None of it is real, okay? That isn't real. Just flying through the woods, flying through the sheets here. All of this is completely generated. They do have a demo. I think we're kind of getting short on time, so I want to rush through this. But, you can imagine, and you've likely seen, I've keep this as I've spoken to somebody who has been contracted through one of the parties locally to create videos for the party running for president. And they created the video completely using generative AI. And you could not tell. You could not tell. And there was a little bit of portions of that video that had even the candidate in it. And now it wasn't for anything nefarious or anything like that. It was just in support of it. But you can see where I'm going with this, and what a future potentially looks like. These models are still very new. We're looking maybe a year or 2 years that they've been out at most. So we're moving to a pretty interesting future, I think, here. All right. So one of the other things that you can do, obviously, is it helps with administrative tasks. So this plays to implementing strategy 226. There's tools like Goblin tools. I'm not going to go into that right now, but you could look at Goblin tools, goblin.tools. And I'm a little bit ADHD. And so, look at the birdie is happening all the time for me. And then I will also have issues where, in the middle of the night at 2 a.m., my brain wants to do all the thinking that it needs to do. And I will brain dump everything everything into notes. Something like Goblin Tools, you can actually go take your brain dump, put it in there, and then it will spit out a task list. You can hit a little button, and then it will actually break down that task list for each one of those things. And then you can edit it, export it, utilize a task list, check it off. And so it helps bring focus to how to do things in life, especially if you're a little spicy brained. Resume writing, super good at that, right? With resume writing, you want to be careful how you utilize this. And when you're uploading documents for any of these systems, actually, if you're uploading documents, be very aware of personal information, especially if it's not yours. Like if it's your own information, that's one thing. But, PPI is a thing. Don't just go uploading, anything into these systems, because most of these systems will train on the data that you uploaded. So it's very important to just, ensure that you're taking note of that. However, if you redact your thing and just put guy's resume and here's where I've worked and whatever, or just a list of things, and I think we might have Paul might have an example later that he can share where it's very helpful in these kinds of ways to do something like resume writing or just taking thoughts and consolidating them and outputting documents. And then, of course, 24/7 tutor, right? The most current models actually are at a graduate, like a high graduate to low doctorates academic level. And so they are capable of physics, chemistry, computer science, right? So if somebody is trying to learn a skill, they can have a one-on-one tutor in any time of day who is probably more knowledgeable than most people out there, and it's free, right? There's no cost to this. So, the ability for these things to supplement veterans who are trying to start their own business or trying to learn a new skill, or voc rehab kind of things, if they're using voc rehab assistance and want to get ahead and are willing to push through these kinds of things, that capability is there. And then, of course, I can't go through this thing and not offer you guys something. So I want to introduce Notebook LM. Okay, so Notebook LM is Google's product. Okay, and what it is it gives you personalized collaboration. And I have let me get my notes out here, because when I was sharing those screens, it took away my notes. Okay. So it's Notebook LM. It allows you to collaborate, upload documents. It's not on par with like what you call it, ChatGPT or anything, as far as like how it talks and all that kind of stuff. But it's great. Think of it like having a conversation with documents or websites. Okay. So I am actually going to show you this here. So we got a workspace. Oh, hey, look at that. There just happens to be a note that I've created that has the federal benefits for veterans, dependents, and survivors PDF, which is not short, okay? And so what you can do with this is say a user wanted to come in here, and I've just uploaded the document. You can just go through here, choose a source. You can either drop a PDF. Again, keep in mind, if you use this for yourself, do not put anything in there that is confidential, that you should not be put in there. Public information, no PPI, that kind of stuff. But you can drop that in there. I actually take voice notes for myself, and I'll drop those in here and have it transcribe it for me. If there's long YouTube videos you don't want to watch, you can just put the YouTube link in there. I just took the benefits thing in there. And let's say, create an email template for me using that document that lists all resources available for homeless veterans. Okay. We just hit a button, right? It's going to search through the document. Okay. And I'll show you why I really like this. So it may take a second here. It's going to search through the document. It's going to find all the necessary resources, and then it's going to output, right, a template. Okay, dear insert name. We understand that you are a veteran experiencing homelessness, or as somebody in support of this. Here are the references. And then what it does here is it has these. It will actually cite the area in the document where it's pulling this information. So if you're like, I don't know if this thing's doing it right, you can go in here and you can actually see where it got the information. copy and paste this template, throw it into Outlook or whatever you have. And then anytime that you want to send information about, where homeless veterans can find more resources, rather than giving them the PDF that they've got to dig through, all the information's there. Or if you wanted to create, some sort of PDF or like a file that you can just hand out, some piece of paper or something like that, you can do it. One of the really neat features about this, though, is that it has this podcasting feature, okay? A lot of mixed reviews on this, but I'm telling you, it's pretty amazing, okay? So I took the document. Last night I created a podcast. It's 26 minutes long, meaning it is talking about this for 26 minutes. We will not listen to that. I'm just going to let you listen a little bit to how the people talk. Again, all generated. This is all generated. None of these people are real. Please listen to this.
Welcome in, everyone, to this deep dive all about VA benefits.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be a good one.
And we couldn't have done it without you guys.
No way.
You gave us this amazing 2023 federal benefits for veterans, dependents, and survivors guide.
It is packed with information.
I know, right? Like, seriously.
Treasure trove.
So much good stuff.
Yeah. So
our mission today is to help you sift through it all.
Exactly.
And to help us do that, I am joined by this amazing expert.
Hello.
Who's going to connect all the dots for us.
Let's do it.
So let's jump right in.
Yep.
First things first.
Okay.
Eligibility.
Huge.
The guide is really emphasizing that
Skip forward here.
Sound kind of intimidating.
I know it can sound kind of complicated, but it's really not that bad.
So can you break it down for us?
Of course. So the VA uses 8.
Okay. The only thing I did for this, okay, is I uploaded the document. I hit a button there it's not there now, but I hit a button there that said generate podcast. This was experimental 3 weeks ago, and then it was used so much that they just went ahead and sent out a full version of this. Again, those two people they're not real. They're generated. Now, this is going to sound weird, but I would really, really, really advise you to look up the Notebook LM Poop Fart podcast. Okay. So somebody uploaded a document that had pages and pages of poop fart, poop fart, poop fart, poop fart, just over and over and over again. Right. And that's all it said. And I think they were trying to trick this thing into just basically what are you going to talk about with a document that says nothing but poop fart? And I'm telling you, I was watching a podcast where the creator of this saw a tweet that somebody had done this, and they're like, oh my gosh, do I want to even listen to this? Or am I going to it's going to keep me up all night? She was about to go to bed. So she listened to the podcast, and her response was, good job, little buddy. You did a good job. And I'm telling you, I would highly, highly recommend you try to find the Google LM Poop Fart podcast. And it's unreal how this generated the conversation around this document. You would not expect that it would go that route. It's pretty impressive. And so I think maybe you can see where this would be very helpful for whether it's people at work who are working in the facilities where they are overwhelmed and maybe overworked and don't have the time to read a 40-page document and maybe just want a summary of it. Again, so long as there's nothing confidential or anything like that. It's very useful. I use this all the time. But again, it's not quite as good as ChatGPT in a lot of ways. Oh. All right, so where are we going with this? And I need to be speed this up a little bit. I want to be aware of everybody's time here. So the future of generative AI, this is not going anywhere. Again, this is I'm sorry, I'm just looking at the chat. That's absolutely free. You just need a Google account. You don't have to pay for anything. So the future of generative AI, this isn't going anywhere. This is the first product, at least that I'm aware of, in the history of our species, where the literal output of the product is intelligence. And it's only getting smarter. Again, what we talked about earlier, more power, more compute, the smarter it seems to be. So we have governance issues. Bureaucracy, as you may know, working for the VA is a thing, and it takes a long time for things to get through. However, in the past 2 to 3 years, this technology has only become exponentially faster and better. So the National Institute of Standards and Technology is looking to follow through with these governance issues. And I think in April, they created the Artificial Intelligence Safety Institute. They just recently, in the past few weeks, actually gave it a director. And they are looking to ensure that the United States is ahead of the game so that democracy AI bot is stronger and better and first before, say, communist bot, which may not be as great for people who utilize it in their nation states. So this is a thing that we are currently looking at. Regulation of this is potentially it could stifle this technology. Again, I don't know. Well, it's really hard to say where we're going to go from here. And then the possibilities. Artificial general intelligence is the idea that artificial intelligence will become as intelligent as all humanity. Okay. Immediately after that, basically, the artificial superintelligence will likely come around the corner, which is more intelligent than any human on Earth. Okay. The predictions from a man named Ray Kurzweil wrote a book called The Singularity is Near. He's pretty on point with most of his predictions over the past 30 years or so. Is come out just even recently. He's been saying 2029 we will see AGI since 1999, and he has not changed that. That's about 4 years from now. So we can expect that there will be an artificial intelligence as smart as all of humanity within the next 4 years, potentially. Okay. And I think if I've made a case for anything, it's if you are not aware of this already, you're seeing some of the capabilities that exist today. These capabilities have changed in the month or two that I've been planning this. So I've had to update this conversation a few times to showcase these capabilities, in so much that even within the past 2 days, I updated this, right? So finally, I just wanted to do a shameless plug for the Hawaii Center for AI. If you are in Hawaii or you are interested, I can have my email in the chat. We do workshops, we offer online workshops, but again, a lot of what we're doing is to support people locally. I will be working with other agencies or groups out here for the veterans, but we do as much as we possibly can. We're all volunteers just to bring awareness to this topic because it is, well, it's the future, and I don't think it's going anywhere. We do provide support for small businesses, and we are continually improving, making connections in the industry in Hawaii, and that's that. So thank you so much for being here today. And if there are any questions that have been caught in the course of this, I'm happy to answer them.
Thank you so much, Van. What an incredibly insightful presentation. I just want to mention 2 quick things before we go to questions. I can vouch for that. The one thing where I entered all that data, you helped me with this, all that information is pages and pages and pages. I was struggling. I told Van I was just struggling to like get to the heart of what the essential, what I needed to say, right? Especially like if you're doing big lit reviews, things like that. It really helped. And the other was just an experiment because we create new presentation. I asked them to like, hey, can we tackle, it's Native American Heritage Month. Can we tackle the topic of Two Spirits? And just give them some basics. And what it spit out was a fully formed, incredibly well done and accurate presentation. But I want to stop talking and leave it up to other people. If you have comments or questions, please come off mute.
Oh, sorry, you froze there.
Oh, let me come off camera. Anybody have questions, comments?
Oh, I was just gonna say, I mean, I think it's super cool. Like, I'm totally into this. But it also is kind of scary at the same time,
Yeah,
you know.
thank you.
You know,
Yeah, for
the
anybody who's
advancements.
oh, sorry, it froze again. Could you repeat that?
Oh no, I was just saying it's kind of scary at the same time, the advancements.
Yeah, so this is certainly a concern that I hear a lot, right? And for me, my take on this is that I hope that artificial general intelligence or some sort of sentient AI comes about sooner than later. And I say that because I am more concerned about how humanity or humans, or we can say nation states, will utilize this technology as a tool than I am of the actual artificial intelligence being not aligned with humans' goals. If it were to say decide that it was its own entity, my
Yeah.
concern is definitely more in how we as humans will use it versus the AI itself.
So, I mean, I've heard people say like they could eventually be self-aware. Is that true?
Yeah, for sure.
Mm.
I would challenge anybody here to go in, open a free account with ChatGPT and just chat with it in whatever domain of knowledge that you are an expert in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And test it and see how funny it can be and all these things. Is it self-aware now? I don't believe it is. No.
Mm-hmm.
Could it potentially be? I don't think that that's off the table. Is that what we're looking at in the future with AGI or ASI? Not necessarily. That the AGI kind of idea is that it's just more capable than any human on Earth. And again, my concern would be with maybe how nation states would utilize this technology versus the technology itself, because something that is unadulterated intelligence potentially, I feel like would have the foresight to know what's good and bad, especially something that is not guided by emotion.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Thanks for answering that.
Yeah.
And Crystal, the University of Arizona has a Center for Consciousness Studies, and this is actually one of the topics they look into. You might want to look it up online. It's pretty
Oh,
fascinating.
really? Okay, thanks.
Yeah, especially
Any other-
considering we don't know what consciousness is. I mean, there's
Right.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would imagine it'd be really great in like, say, fighting the like global warming or something like that, like what can we do, right? These are like questions you can ask it.
There are many things that it's currently working on. One of the interesting things that when you bring up global warming, NVIDIA is leading the way with the architecture for these systems, right? NVIDIA being making graphics cards and that kind of stuff. I would suggest you look at the keynote, NVIDIA's keynote recently. One of the things that they're doing is they're trying to create AI super factories, right? Whole factories that have this architecture that are able to compute and make AI systems that are massive. One of the things that they have started building is a literal replica of the Earth and the Earth's weather patterns. And those weather patterns are then put into this AI that simulates every possible way that the that the weather could go. So they're essentially trying to simulate hundreds of years of possible weather so that if the weather goes any one sort of way, it's already run through every possibility that the jet stream could have gone and that it could have affected this and then global warming and levels. Also, genomics is a large area of study using this, and the possibility within the next 5 to 10 years for us to maybe stifle and or solve the aging problem is not off the table. And this is documented.
Oh, well, they
So
better hurry up on that.
yeah. Yeah. Well, we'll see
Well,
how the
I'm
next few
sorry.
years goes.
Can I
Yeah.
ask sorry for interrupting you. What is the statement you're trying to make with pharmacogenomics and AI?
So there are people that are working on using artificial intelligence to help supplement the study of genomics, right? And so one of the things that they're looking at is, I guess, the is it telomere problem, right? Like that's like what they think why we age or whatever, and that's the issue. I'm not an expert, so if you are, don't ask me for like the nitty gritty, but by all means look it up. Because there's definitely information out there where there's a potential where we will be able to create where
because you see
researchers
everything you're stating, I'm thinking of it from a medical center perspective. So pharmacogenomics to me deals with medication. I mean, aging is nice, but I don't think we're going to be paying for our veterans to be getting facelifts.
I'm sorry,
So-
you had frozen there.
Yeah, so what I said was everything you're stating, because we are a VA medical center. So when you made the statement of pharmacogenomics, in my mind, it came to medication. I don't think the VA is going to be paying for everybody to be getting, their new form of facial energy to look 20. So
Yeah. No, it's just saying in general, the aging process being studied, AI is helping speed that up. But I haven't seen those studies. I do know what you're talking about, though, about the telomeres. I want to tell everybody we're out of time, and I don't want to go over time, but for anybody that spoke up that had questions, Van, would you be okay putting a PDF version of your presentation in the chat? And that way people have the resources, or at least a list of the resources?
Yeah, I
And-
will have to create one, I think, here. But I can. Will you have access to this chat after the meeting?
Yeah, or yeah. If you put it in now, anybody has it. But
Okay.
otherwise, I can also send it out.
Download
But yeah,
it.
thank you,
Okay,
Van.
cool.
I'm going to stop the recording, but I just wanted to thank you so much. This has been very insightful. Clearly something that takes a lot more time to deal with. So we might have to have you back for part 2.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, export as PDF.